the Liberal government says it will begin the process of buying 18 Boeing Super Hornet jet fighters to meet what it deems to be the urgent needs of the Air Force, but was unable to say Tuesday when the aircraft will be purchased and how much they will cost. In addition, Defense Minister Harjit Sajjan announced the Trudeau government will launch a full-fledged replacement program for the entire existing fleet of CF-18s before the end of its term in 3 or 4 years. He promised an open and transparent competition to replace the aging fighters purchased in the 1980s and said the decision must be guided by the country's defense needs, which are still being formulated. The competition for a permanent fleet will be informed by the outcomes of the Defense Policy Review next year, Sajjan said. Significantly, he added that the competition will produce a new fleet that will be fully operational in the late 2020s, which pushes the transition to new jets further into the future than the former Conservative government had planned. The previous government had planned to stop flying the current fleet by 2025. That means we must continue to fly the legacy CF-18s throughout the 2020s, no matter what, said Sajjan. Late Tuesday, in an interview with CBC Radio's As It Happens, Sajjan said the old fighters might be required to keep flying until 2032. Public Works Minister Judy Foote said the planned competition will ensure that the country gets the right fighter jet at the right price, but it could take as long as 5 years to prepare and run. That is despite multiple consultations with industry and an exhaustive, independent panel review conducted under the Conservatives. The urgent, sole source purchase of Super Hornets is intended to cover what Sajjan says is a growing capability gap where Canada is strained to meet all of its NATO and North American air defense commitments. The government plans to enter into discussions with the U.S. government and Boeing immediately to acquire the jets, but Sajjan would not say how long it will take, nor how much each plane might cost. The decision to sole source is controversial, the kind of arbitrary political move the Liberals railed about when the former Conservative government essentially promised to do the same thing with the F-35 stealth fighter. Cabinet met today and gave its blessing to the plan. The Liberals have struggled since coming to office on how to deal with the toxic political legacy of the F-35 debate, which played out over many years with the former Harper government. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau promised during the last election not to buy the Lockheed Martin-manufactured stealth fighter. The Conservatives had put the F-35 program on hold in 2012 after a scathing report by the Auditor General, who accused National Defense and Public Works of understating the enormous lifetime cost and not doing their homework. Sajjan first floated the notion of an urgent capability gap last spring, but the concept has remained ill-defined. The country's Chief of Defense Staff said Tuesday there is a fear that with a dwindling number of serviceable jets the Air Force might not be able to meet unforeseen events, such as a September